Introducing the L-bars from Career Extenders. In a moment I will demonstrate their use, but first let me show you the three styles of L-bars. As you can clearly see, this tool has two tips and two handles. So I could hold this handle to use this modified wedge tip, to work the occiput, etc. I could also use the same tip with using this handle, or I can turn it over and use this same handle to use the ball tip. This tool has clearly got one handle. I can use it to use this wedge tip, and I would simply turn it upside down, use the same handle to use the ball tip. This tool clearly has one handle, which I can use to use the ball tip, and just turn it over to use the modified wedge tip. Use of the L-bars. Okay, let's demonstrate. Here are the transverse processes and the spinous processes. This little tool can get right in between the little spinous processes, get those little erector muscles that run from spinous process to spinous process, get the little rotatory muscles. You can treat the periosteum on the bones, the little ligaments, little tendinous insertions. We can use this tool to get right into the attachments right on the spinous processes or right on the transverse processes. Now the other end of the tool is rounded, so it will fit very nicely right into that lamina groove. Slide along in there just beautifully. This little tool can be used very effectively to scoop right up underneath the occiput, right up into these little muscles, these suboccipital muscles. You can treat them deep up in here where your fingers will never get in. If there are little trigger points hiding in these muscles and you don't get them treated properly, they'll keep reactivating the muscles, and you'll have these patients who keep coming back. Every time they come, the suboccipitals are very tight. You can see with this tool you can get very deep up inside there. Of course, you're going to start gently, use appropriate pressure when the first impulse comes in. Each session you'll get in a little deeper, or each time you go back during the same session you'll be able to get in a little deeper. All these little suboccipital muscles here are notorious for causing headaches and all kinds of problems. And here you can see these little rector muscles that run from spinous process to spinous process. This little tool is perfect for getting in, treating in between there, in between them. Because the tool is this shape, rounded, you can go sideways back and forth, and as you come to a problem muscle, the tool will just roll up over it, and as you get in, you can very easily slide back and forth over those muscles. You can feel which muscles are hard. Because of the rounded tool, it won't catch on the muscles, it will just slide up and over. Now I'm working a little more aggressively. And the trapezius insertions are right on the occiput, so you can get right in there and work it. I'm turning the tool at kind of an awkward angle for me so that the camera can see what I'm doing. You can actually scrape that occiput, scrape those insertions, the periosteum if it's affected, and of course right on the cervical vertebrae. We'll bring her chin a little closer to her chest to open up the space between the spinous processes. Now we can get in between, treat those little tissues discussed a moment ago. periosteum right on the bones and the little ligaments, little tendons. You can feel all those structures right through the tool with a little practice. You'll get very close to almost as good at feeling those little structures as you can with your hand. Once you've used the tools for a little while, you'll realize that that's true. If you've been using them, you know it's true. You'll be amazed at how soon you'll get a sense of feeling the tissues through the tools. There's a little bit of a learning curve, and you'll be tempted to want to use your fingers, but if you make yourself use the tools, you'll find that very quickly you'll adapt. It won't be very long but you'll swear by them. I've spent years on some of the tools, designing the tools so that they're comfortable for the patient and for you. I'd make one tool, try it out, and then improve it, remake it again, until I get a tool down to where it's working really well. And the other side of the tool, you can see there's a ball, which will slide beautifully in the laminar groove as mentioned earlier. I can take my thumb and put it right on the spinous processes or transverse processes, see where the laminar groove is. My thumb is just gently feeling it's not doing the work. I can feel the laminar groove through the tool. Now we'll go into the upper thoracic. Again, my one thumb will identify where the spinous process is. These fingers are anchoring the tool so that I can move around. I'm not holding the tool and just pushing it at the person. I've actually got my hands at full contact, both for energy and for stabilizing the tool. This is very much the way I would actually work on the person. Sometimes the way I hold the tool during this demonstration is a little different, just so simply that the camera can see. I would say 99% of the time the patient has no idea that you're even using a tool on them. These tools are made out of a hard plastic, but they're very smooth and very comfortable for the patient. And obviously you use some judgment of how much pressure you use. So we have the shoulder blade here. If you were to